Adventure is in my blood. Finding treasures big or small and having fun is what it's all about. With my wife Melissa and our 3 kids, life is pretty full. But there isn't a mountain we can't climb together. This isn't your ordinary antique store. My name is Alex Archbold and this is Curiosity Inc.
I'm home, honey!
Hi everyone and welcome to today's episode. It is not your average adventure today because it's just an adventure going outdoors. The temperature has dropped to minus 48 degrees with the wind chill. It's minus 44 right now, but apparently it's going to be a little bit colder. For a hardened Canadian boy like myself, that's still cold and people don't like it. But you can see I'm here at the house by myself because Melissa and the kids are already off on their way to school. That's right. When you get this kind of weather in Canada, there's no school day. If your car starts, you got to make it. If your car doesn't start, you boost it. You make sure it works. And on that note, I'm going to have to go outside pretty soon to make sure that my car starts because I'm driving my 72 Pontiac ambulance, my Ghostbuster car. It's generally been pretty reliable, but I don't know how it's going to do in this kind of weather. But first, let's make a hot cup of water. Now, I'm not making a hot cup of water because I feel like a tea or a coffee or anything like that this morning. I am making a cup of water to prove a point. It is so cold outside that I can take this steaming cup of hot water and toss it in the air and watch what happens. See that? Just turns into steam. Even hot water can't exist in this kind of weather. And despite all that, and despite how cold it is outside, everybody's pretty much just living life as normal. That's what we do here. What will probably happen is that my car might not start. And if that's the case, I'll have to put a charger on it. So I'm going to go outside now and see if the car will start so that I have a way of getting to work. And I don't want to be outside for too long because skin can actually freeze in just a few minutes being outdoors like this. But hopefully the car will start and it won't be an issue. There she is, my frosty little ambulance. And this is what it looks like. It looks nice enough outside. Blue sky and sunny. Sure, there's snow, but you wouldn't think that it's deathly cold outside, but it is. All little houses are steaming away. Let's give this a try here. See if we can get her turn over. Ooh, the seat's hard as a rock. This seat is ridiculously, has no give right now. Okay, I've got to do this with my bare hand here just to get enough. Get a little bit of gas. Uh-oh. She is struggling. Okay, well, this is kind of bad news right now. I'm not even getting it to sputter. It is pretty cold. I'm gonna have to pop the hood and put the battery charger on, I think. Okay, I'll get this on. Put a bit of a stronger charge on it, 55 amps should do. And my battery's completely dead. It's only 1% charged right now. It's so cold that the decorative trim off my garage is also starting to fall off. The glue just basically couldn't hold up in that weather. I'm gonna get back inside before I freeze my buns off out here. And I don't want you to think that it's cold like this all the time. I mean, our winters do get cold, but we have basically a week and a half of this kind of weather, which is enough to make you want to move anywhere else. The equivalent, I think, in Fahrenheit is about minus 56 degrees Fahrenheit right now. But next Monday, it's going up to +3, which I think is around, 32 degrees Fahrenheit or so? Anyway, it's a big jump in temperature, which is crazy. I guess there's Arctic wind blowing at us. But hopefully that'll turn the other way and go back from where it came from. The car is going to charge outside. Hopefully I'll be able to get that going. I went out early this morning before the store opened, so I should have enough time to charge it, get it started, and still get to work on time. But right now I'm a little bit nervous about all that. Oh, almost. Ooh, she does not sound happy. But she started. Oh, or not. Try that again. Have to keep my foot on the gas a little bit here. Okay, the car is warm, thankfully. In that brief moment though that I was starting the car when it was freezing in here, I actually did get a little bit of frostbite on my 2 fingers. That thumb, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of purpley looking. It basically is like a
burning numbness in your finger is from turning the key on the ignition. You do have to be very careful in this kind of weather. So when I do go back outside, I will be wearing my big winter gloves. Thankfully, the car inside is nice and toasty warm, and my seat has softened up a little bit. It was hard as a rock a minute ago. I'm not expecting it to be a very busy day at the store. In fact, it's probably going to be very quiet, and I'll be able to get some stuff done, get things packed up for mailing out from the internet. But I posted on my Facebook that if anybody was brave enough to come in, I'd put them on YouTube. So we'll see who takes that bait and decides to go on YouTube and brave minus 44 or nearly minus 50 degrees Celsius here today. We shall see. Made it to the shop safe and sound. Forgot that I didn't shovel. Well, actually it snowed and I wasn't here. It's not that I forgot, but I had to do that. Let's see, have to unload the car still because there's a bunch of stuff in the back that has to come in. And just a lot of general little odd jobs around the shop that have to get done here today. So I'm gonna try and keep myself busy, and we'll see who is crazy enough to come join me today. My odds are, this is my guess right now, that regular viewer Bob is gonna show up. Now I haven't contacted him, but I just have this psychic feeling that he might show up. We'll see if I'm right. The fellow had a massive collection, but I only picked up a few. Some oddball ones like this German horse limousine, an older Challenger TA from American Muscle, a Pullman 65 Chevy truck, and a racing Mustang, and an Auto Art Bugatti Veyron. Now, these are all vehicles that were probably purchased 15, 20 years ago from him, and those are the price tags from that time. A lot of these companies are no longer in business, or they've sold out to other makers. It's just not as popular of a collectible nowadays, but that means that these ones are kind of harder to find. They stop making them, and people come in looking for either maybe they have that particular car or they're still collecting and they can't get them anymore. So finding some cool items like this will always find a home. I always like to get the ones that are a little bit more unusual that people might not see every day. Now I have about 45 minutes until the store opens, and Sean, while he was in on the weekend, said that Jim, our pinball guy, came in and did a little work on the pinball machines. I'm going to see if he got them working, and maybe there's some updates. Okay, Road Race is the one I had going before. I like the graphics on it. You know, mid-1960s kind of unit. So I know that this one is working, but I did have a few troubles with the Big Shot pool game. It was kind of a little hit and miss. So I'm going to see. I think I actually need to put a quarter in this one. There we go. We'll put a quarter in and see if it does anything. Okay. Okay, maybe he got this one working. These are electromechanical machines, which means there's a lot of little contacts in here, and if they get misaligned or dirty, sometimes it fails to work. For somebody who knows pinball, it's a pretty easy fix, and it looks like he's got this one working again. I had a project this morning too, and that was to clean some vintage World War I. Their collar dogs or collar badges and hat badges. They came in the other day from a young fellow who went out and actually dug them out of the ground from an old dump site. Now these ones, I ended up putting my ultrasonic, and they came out looking pretty good. They are from Khaki University, which is pretty rare thing to find, as they were trying to integrate the troops throughout the war so that they had education coming out of it. The Khaki University hat badges and pins are quite rare, so to find a little collection like that is kind of uncommon, but lucky for me, most of them came up looking shiny as a new penny. I also got this old William Penn outboard motor oil can. It's fairly rare, but it's also really dirty. I pulled it right off the shelf of a shop, and I'm going to try and give a bit of a cleanup here. So this is the before, what it looks like, and I'm going to try and wash it down and make it look a little bit better. After a little soap and water, it's already looking much better. Not going to be perfect, but still cool. And outboard motor oil cans are a little bit more unique and difficult to find because there weren't as many boats being used, especially around the prairie provinces where this can is from. So that's kind of a unique piece. I'm sure it'll find a home fairly quickly, probably about $100 can or so. Oh, and I see my first customer of the day is waiting outside. Who can it be? Why, it's Bob. You know what, Bob? Not more than 15 minutes ago, I said, I guarantee that Bob the Bottle Man is going to be coming through these doors today, and here
That's
you are.
right.
I didn't think you'd be the first guy through the doors.
Well, it's, yeah, I know. I braved the cold and,
I know, there's not much else to do on a day like this, is there?
exactly. I thought I'd go see my best buds and,
Yeah, well, I've just been getting some new stuff out of here. I'll show you. Okay, well, I figured since you're here, you can be with me while we open up this package. It came in the other day, and it looks like it came from really far away. Yeah, this came from Greece, from Macedonia. Probably the farthest I've had a package, just about one of the farthest places I've had a package arrive from. So I guess I'll crack this open and see what the mystery surprise is today. Opening up the package right now, and this one comes to us from Naviana in Macedonia, Greece. So if you're watching Naviana, thank you so much. Your parcel arrived, but I don't know what it is. We're gonna go through it. Well, let's see what they have sent us. Let's see. Greek handcrafted cigars. Wow. I hadn't planned on becoming a smoker. I was gonna start with the patch, I guess, and work my way up. But there's some cigars in here. Okay, well, let's go through and have a look-see. We've got some peppermint tea, it looks like, and some spearmint and orange tea. I'm a tea drinker. I've never smoked a cigar in my life, but I am a tea drinker. I don't know what that says about me. Maybe I don't live life on the wild side enough. Mind you, I've inhaled enough fumes at the Potter's house to probably last a lifetime. Handcrafted, oh yeah, those are the handcrafted cigars right there. I will find someone who is a cigar smoker, and I'm sure that they will enjoy those. Oh, and it's got some biscuits and cookies and stuff in there too. I guess that's you know, like an afternoon, you smoke a cigar and eat some crackers. Very interesting. Let's see, there's a little note here for Alex if you smoke. These cigars have 0 chemicals. Well, I guess if you're going to smoke, at least, you know, they're somewhat better for you. It's a very kind sentiment for sure. I'm going to set that aside for now, and we'll continue looking through this box. I shouldn't say that I've never smoked. I've never smoked a cigarette or cigar or anything like that, but I've smoked, like, myself, because I lit myself on fire once, if that counts. Melissa's mom sent me out to the farm to burn off some firewood in the back, and it was kind of wet, so I thought I would use gasoline and ended up kind of blowing myself up. Literally flew through the trees backwards. My eyebrows were singed, my hair was singed back, and it was a thing. So that's about the only time I've ever smoked. Don't recommend doing that. That's probably a little worse for your health. Bob's over here just laughing at me. Sadly, it's a true story. Melissa will attest to that. And Melissa's mom, I guess they were sitting inside the farmhouse and they saw me go out, and then I guess I couldn't light the fire. And then they saw me come back and get gasoline. And Melissa said, like the wise woman that she is, does he know what he's doing? And Melissa's mom, who felt maybe with my overconfidence that I did in fact know what I was doing, said, I'm sure he knows what he's doing. I did not. I made a nice little ring of gasoline and tried to light a bunch of branches on fire and made a piss. I learned how the combustion engine works out in the wild. That was real fun. Now I know Melissa's gonna love this. There's some Greek coffee, some filtered coffee in here. Melissa is a coffee connoisseur. Well, she loves coffee. This is gonna have a very good home with her. And let's see. Organic oregano. Handpicked and dried. Good thing the border agents didn't open this up. They'd never believe that you'd packed oregano inside of a brown nondescript paper bag. Find myself going to prison over a bag of oregano. Handpicked and ready for cooking. Well, that's very kind of you. We'll put that to good use. And yeah, sure enough, it is a bag of fresh oregano straight from Macedonia, Greece. Never in my life have I had somebody handpick oregano and mail it to me. There's a shoebox here with another cigar and something called vodka zest, blackcurrant vodka flavoring, ready to mix with a liter of vodka. Well, I have learned that you Greeks like to party. There's vodka mix, there's cigars, and an emergency blanket, is that in case you smoke and drink too much and pass out, that you can just wrap yourself up into like a little cocoon, a Greek cocoon, and then they'll find you later in the ruins of your beautiful temples after you've had a night of partying. I thought you guys were all into your ouzo out there. Apparently I'm wrong. They're drinking blackcurrant flavored vodka and smoking cigars and having a great old time. Apparently Greece is where the party's at. You party so hard, you need a fire blanket for afterwards. And this one says it's handmade by Mariana herself. Let's see what she sent us. It feels cushy and soft. I'm guessing this was sent out at Christmas time or close to it. It looks like a scarf. Well, that is going to come in really handy on a day like today. Well, you have no idea how handy this getup would be on a day like today. It is freezing cold outside. Thank you very much. You didn't send me the vodka though, so I don't know how warm I'm actually going to be. And doesn't smell like cigars, thankfully. Yeah, it's really, really nice, very thoughtful thing to come in the mail. And on a day where it's one of the coldest days of the year, this is all stuff that's bound to keep me warm. I think I'll have to make my friend Bob a tea if you're up for it. You drink tea, Bob?
Yep.
Okay.
I sure do.
All right, it's tea time for us. And I think we're gonna do this tea today, and I put your little Greek flags up top there. You know, I don't know about your part of the world. Well, if you're in Greece, I imagine you're probably proud Greeks, but in Canada, if you're Greek, you will let the whole world know. Like your house suddenly turns into the Parthenon, there's columns, there's Greek flags all over the place. We know you're Greek and we know you're proud. That's pretty awesome. I have Greek family members too, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun to try this out. We'll give it a go. Now I can sip my Greek tea while I just chill with my Bob Ross mug and have a drink with friend. I had another person brave the Arctic, my friend Kelly. But you don't look like you're dressed for this weather, though. That's just like a light hoodie or
my leather coat.
Oh, I see.
Hoodie and
just many layers.
T-shirt.
But no gloves.
Oh, they're in the car. Yeah, we're not on the.
I got frostbite this morning.
Did you?
Yeah, from holding the key, the ignition on my ambulance, trying to start it. My thumb and my finger got a little bit frostbitten. And here you are, just sauntering on in here like it's, you know, a balmy minus 15 degrees out there.
Is it? Well, it's minus 34, right?
Yeah, and then with wind chill,
then
with the wind chill, it's close to minus 50. So I think I'll be going outside. So what's new with you? Any cool treasures lately?
Oh, we were in Ontario for a week. Started off in Ontario the first week of the new year, and I just shipped some stuff back that I had there. So created some excitement for myself by bringing that back. Some airplane motors.
For those of you that don't know just how talented this man is, Kelly is the one who actually built this amazing bat boat that you see in many of my videos, and so many people ask about it. And there it is. How long did that take you to put together anyway?
Well, the hull is a reproduction of a salesman sample.
Didn't it take you like 2 years or something like that before you had all the details done? And
yeah, it depends. Sometimes you have to source parts, and painting by Dave Dunbar. He does an awesome job of the painting.
Yeah, Dave's who did our sign on the outside of the building and some other work. But, well, I love it. It looks fantastic sitting there. It's 1/4 scale too, which is a pretty big scale if you're not familiar. Like, here's the size of my hand, I guess. Well, I don't know what to compare it to, but the figures are, how many inches tall would you say? Like 12, 14 inches tall?
16 inches,
yeah, it's big. It's not, you know, your average type of model. You need some serious space in your house to display something like that. But I love it. It looks great right there.
One of a kind.
It is one of a kind. We like one of a kind things around here. And I had, you know, I was joking, and then I saw you said that you were going to bring hot chocolate if you came out today. Here you are. So what on earth are you doing outdoors in minus 50 degrees Celsius weather today?
I had to go to school and buy a textbook.
Oh, darn textbooks. Well, your education is worth it.
Yes.
And that was really nice. You didn't bring me just a small one. You brought me, and this is this is McDonald's or Tim Hortons?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. That is a giant size hot chocolate. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Niagara Falls whenever it was much warmer there than here. Mind you, I had the hiccups nonstop. That's another story. But I ran into a fellow that had the Evil Knievel Museum. There's a few things I was interested in. We bought them later after the fact. And guess what arrived today? A massive 130-pound box from Niagara Falls. I'm going to crack this open and show you guys what I got. Why, it says fragile. It must be from Europe or something. Fragile. Maybe it's a major award. Well, it's not a leg lamp.
But it is some other cool stuff. I'm going to unpack this completely and set it up on the counter. This is a really unique piece. It's a I'd say probably early 1900s horse gambling game. And I think, yeah, we had a little bit of damage along the way. The glass got broken, which is a major bummer. But I mean, glass can get recut, but it's not really something I wanted to do right now. Let's check and see how bad this damage is.
Yeah, that's where I'll park.
Okay, I'm not going to move it around too much. As you can see, the glass shifted, and this little circle got broken. I don't want to cut myself. I'm going to take that out. It looks like the graphic is all still in good shape, but this is an early horse racing gambling game, an English one, portable. So we're going to try and get that glass out of there and use it as a template for a new piece. The other machine that came in was this. It's called the Film Stars. You wouldn't know it from looking at it, but it is actually a slot machine. And the idea here was that it had stars' names, and when you landed on a certain star, you can see Betty Grable, Ginger Rogers, Frank Sinatra, they'd pay out a certain amount of pennies back. So to play was 1 penny, 1 English penny. And we know it's English pennies because these all fell out inside the box and came out of the coin return. So you'd put a penny in. It's a little too cold to work right now. I'm gonna have to let it warm up. You pull the lever on the side here like a one-arm bandit. When the name comes up of whoever pays out the most, like Ingrid Bergman, they made her pay out 6 coins. So kind of a neat thing, a very unusual slot machine, and in really nice original condition. We're just gonna let that warm up. And look, I've already made some money back on the deal here. I've got like, you know, a pound worth of pennies. I'll set those out there. Now we've had a little bit of damage with some of the other stuff, and Bob, who happens to be here, he's over there chatting right now. Bob collects bottles, and we're a little bit worried because there's a couple really rare bottles in here that are meant for Bob. We're gonna find out if they got broken too. So let's unpack these and see what kind of shape they're in. Okay, there's one right there. This is a very early Dr. Pepper bottle, flat-sided. And what's unusual about a bottle like this, oftentimes they're missing that paper label. This has the paper label, but this is when they were like a pharmacy beverage. It wasn't something that you bought as a soda. This was, you know, literally being sold as a medicinal bottle. So do you have one of those yet, Bob?
Nope, that's a keeper.
Today could be the day. And I think there's another one in here too that's a little bit on the rare side. We'll see if it made it. The other one that we got in was an original Coca-Cola bottle, blue glass, cobalt blue glass. And it has the paper label still on it. Always missing the label. This one has the label. But this one's neat because it's property of the Coca-Cola Bottling Company Canada. It's a Canadian bottle. And again, this predates when Coca-Cola went to the curvy bottle that we're used to today. They were flat-sided like this so that they could apply a paper label. When they stopped applying the paper labels, well, they could get creative with the bottle design. That's another great bottle, especially to find it with the label. For anybody who collects bottles, those are 2 keepers right there. Well, we have a happy customer here today. Bob, you've got quite a few bottles, don't you?
I got a bit of a collection now, yeah.
Yeah, I always keep my eyes open, and sometimes you'll hear me in a video say, Bob back home, he collects bottles. But today you picked up a couple real special ones, and I got these from that museum. We were doing a little bit of research, and we figured these are both circa 1900 to 10 kind of time frame, around 1900. Very early Dr. Pepper bottle. And the fact that that label is still on there, and it makes sense that this came out of Niagara Falls because Batavia, New York, if I said that right, if I didn't, I'm sorry if you're from there. That is a short drive away from Niagara Falls. And then this one is early Coca-Cola. This is 1900. And yeah, that's the Canadian one. But those have found a home. So they just came in today and now they're walking out the door with you. And you said that'll be one of the better ones in your collection, right?
Yeah, I've got a few that stand out now, but this is now number 1 in my collection.
The Dr. Pepper one.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I
Coke
agree.
is a close second.
Yeah, it's both cool pieces. Oh, I'm glad you happened to saunter on in the door on this frosty, cold day.
I knew there was a reason for me to come in here today, and yeah, these are just, I'm happier than a kid at Christmas.
Okay, some good news on the horse racing game. It was never meant to have a glass piece on top, so the fact that it broke is no big deal because that wasn't supposed to be there anyway. Somebody probably just put that on when it was at the museum so it didn't get dusty, but it's not missing that part. I'm not going to pay the money to get it cut because it's not supposed to be there. And I'm surprised just how busy it's been in the store today. Granted, it's like minus 50 degrees out here right now, or minus 56 Fahrenheit. That said, I've had a few phone orders come in. This one's going off to Ontario. Even the polar bear is too cold to stick around in Edmonton. We got to send him somewhere warm. So he's off to Ontario to find a new home. I'm going to pack that up and send that out in the mail later today. The other thing that came with the giant box of arcade machines and Bob's bottles and other stuff that was in there was this. It's a stamp set. When normally I don't get into stamps too much, but this one's kind of unique. First thing I noticed is that it's dated 1948, and it says from the first day of issue. Now for a stamp collector, that alone is pretty interesting that it's from the very first day that this was issued. But what makes this unique is that it was gifted to Mayor Houck, as I believe you said, William Houck, who was mayor from 47 to 1950, given to him by the designer of the stamp. So they probably got the design out and said, you know, you better send one off to the mayor as a sign of our friendship between the United States and Canada. And that's what this was commemorating, 1848 to 1948. And really, really interesting little piece of history here. And I'm not really much into stamps, but I think that's a cool piece. And how cool is that it's given right from the designer of the stamp to the mayor himself. Pretty nice find when you weren't expecting it. I was on the phone with a customer, and I was visiting with Bob here, and I saw somebody walking around the store that looked somewhat familiar. See if they're still here. I see Jim, our pinball guy, working away, and hey, who's this?
Hey, how's it going there?
It's Hans and Zenobia, who's hiding behind a record.
The nice and balmy weather outside. It's
Yeah,
only like minus 40. I think we're almost on the upside of things.
Yeah, well, you're wearing a t-shirt. It's like minus 50 degrees with the wind chill or whatever, and you're strolling in like it's summertime here.
Well, it is.
It is summer.
But the Baba coming instead. She's like in like this coming, and he comes in like that.
Yeah, like I know that beard's got like a good, thick, healthy beard, but you got to wrap that around a few times to keep yourself warm.
Well, no. See, I just snuggle up to the women that I see on the street, and then it's all good.
You give him a smack for that, Zenobia. You guys are in town. Zenobia's looking at records. So this is where I learned that you are, in fact, what, a Frank Zappa fan? Is that what's going on here? Or you're just seeing what's what?
No, Frank Zappa. And he's never heard of Frank Zappa.
Really? Well, he's kind of eclectic taste. You've heard of Pink Floyd, though.
Pink Floyd, yeah. Pink
okay.
Floyd.
Yeah,
Rolling Stones.
The Who, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, yeah, those ones.
All that good stuff. Well, you guys came on a day. There's lots going on today. I said, I wonder who's crazy enough to come in this weather. And then here you are.
Here comes the crazy Viking in the store with his t-shirt on.
Yeah, I know. Well, you got to tell me you packed a coat, though, somewhere.
I told him he better do it. I brought it in for him.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and Jim's over here working on the pinball machines. That's what's going on here.
Giving her over there.
Yeah. No, it's been...
That'd be good.
It's really good to see you. I keep trying to think of things that I need help with that you might be able to come in, but I don't think anybody wants to work in this kind of weather.
Well, I have thought a couple of water lines, but that's about it.
Yeah, not too much I bet going on out there.
No, keep the water going. That's what is important right now for the people. So.
And so everybody's gonna be asking, how is your house treating you?
Oh, good. No problem.
Yeah, even though the floor is a little wacky, but
Well,
other than that,
It's called skating out of the bedroom.
well,
out you go.
How'd you go fishing out?
But you're thinking come springtime you might be able
then
to
we can
tackle that.
start to level it up and get her going, and it'll be good.
Yeah, I was trying to tell people that, you know, the reason he hasn't done that kind of work yet is it's winter.
Wow, it's too cold, right?
You basically
warm it the way it is.
hibernate.
I've had a little bit of problems, but it was only a matter of like a few seconds, and I put a lamp underneath that keeps the water going, and it's been good.
Well, good. I'm sure everybody's happy that you're somewhere warm and cozy. And
And Zenobia's been keeping me in line, so
I bet, yeah, she's
good woman, yeah. Hard job
Why
for
did
her,
you do
right?
this to me every time? I'm like, oh my God, and I look like Fuba.
Oh, it's really good to see you guys back through again. I'm gonna go check and see who's ringing the bell up at the front.
Oh, right
Go
on.
Check on them. So I thought it was going to be absolutely quiet at the store today. Ended up being really busy. Lots of telephone orders. We sold some bottles to Bob, and we had some special guests come by.
Hey, good to see you good folks in YouTube land.
So just a fun day all around. So thank you guys so much for watching today's episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Stay tuned for more episodes, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.